Hello and welcome. We are about to embark on a remarkable journey, not across vast oceans or into dense jungles, but through the very heart of human ingenuity and history. Here, in France, stand monuments that are not merely structures of stone and steel, but living chronicles of a nation's soul. They have witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the birth of revolutions, and the quiet unfolding of countless human lives. Each archway, every spire, and all the silent halls hold stories waiting to be told, whispers from a past that has profoundly shaped our present. These landmarks are a testament to centuries of extraordinary vision, cultural richness, and relentless innovation. From the soaring ambition of Gothic cathedrals reaching for the heavens, to the revolutionary engineering that redefined a city's skyline, we see the enduring power of human creativity. They are the physical embodiment of artistic movements, royal ambitions, and the collective memory of a people. Here the echoes of history are not faint. They resonate with a power that continues to inspire awe and wonder in all who come to witness them. So, I invite you now to join me. Let us travel together through the diverse landscapes of France, from the bustling heart of Paris to the serene Loire Valley and the sun-drenched south. We will explore these iconic structures, not just as tourist destinations, but as portals to another time. Together, we will uncover the intricate tales of their creation, their survival, and their enduring legacy. Our exploration of France's greatest monuments begins now. In the heart of Paris, a remarkable structure pierces the sky, the Eiffel Tower. Conceived for the 1889 Exposition Universelle, it was intended as a temporary testament to France's industrial prowess. A colossal lattice of wrought iron, it was a feat of engineering unlike anything the world had ever seen. Its creator, Gustave Eiffel, and his team of engineers and draftsmen meticulously planned every one of its 18,000 pieces, a complex skeleton designed to withstand the powerful forces of the wind. It was a bold declaration of a new, modern age, a structure born not of stone, but of metal and mathematics. Yet this icon was not welcomed with open arms. It was met with a chorus of outrage from Paris's artistic and literary elite. They called it a truly tragic street lamp, a gigantic black smokestack, a monstrous blemish on the face of their beautiful city. They saw it as a soulless factory chimney, an affront to the elegant classical architecture that defined Paris. The controversy was fierce, a battle between tradition and the relentless march of progress. For many, it seemed destined to be a short-lived folly, a monument to hubris that would be dismantled within 2 decades, its memory fading into obscurity. But a curious transformation occurred. The tower, initially reviled, began to weave itself into the fabric of the city. Its sheer verticality offered unparalleled views, and its structure proved invaluable as a radio transmission tower, securing its survival. Slowly, Parisians, and then the world, began to see it differently. It was no longer an intruder, but a guardian. Its intricate lace-like form became a symbol not of industrial coldness, but of elegance, romance, and aspiration. It had defied its critics and its intended lifespan to become something far greater than its creators had ever imagined. Today, it stands as the undisputed emblem of Paris, and indeed of France itself. Each year, millions are drawn to it, ascending its heights to gaze upon the city it now defines. At night, its golden illumination transforms it into a beacon, a lighthouse in a sea of urban life. From a controversial temporary exhibit to a beloved global icon, the Eiffel Tower's journey is a powerful story of perception, resilience, and the enduring ability of a structure to capture the human imagination and become a symbol for the entire world. To the southwest of Paris lies a domain of almost unimaginable scale and opulence, the Palace of Versailles. What began as a modest royal hunting lodge was transformed, under the absolute power of King Louis XIV, into the very center of the French universe. This was not merely a home for a king. It was a theater for power, a gilded cage for the nobility, and a dazzling statement of divine right. Every fountain, every gilded corner, every manicured garden was designed with a single purpose: to overwhelm the senses and proclaim the unparalleled glory of the Sun King. Within its sprawling complex, one corridor stands supreme, the Hall of Mirrors. Here, 17 immense, arch-topped mirrors are positioned directly opposite 17 windows looking out onto the magnificent gardens. In the 17th century, mirrors of this size were a luxury of almost mythical expense, and to have a hall lined with them was the ultimate display of wealth and technological prowess. The hall captures and reflects the light, creating a breathtaking, almost ethereal space where courtiers would gather, and where the fate of nations would be debated in hushed, reverent tones. It was here that the monarchy put its power on full display. But the palace's history extends far beyond the age of kings. It has been a silent witness to the turbulent currents of history. It saw the mobs of the French Revolution storm its gates, forever changing the course of the nation. And centuries later, it was in the very same Hall of Mirrors that the world order was redrawn. In 1919, the Treaty of Versailles was signed here, officially ending the First World War. The choice of location was deliberate, a symbolic moment of German humiliation in the same hall where the German Empire had been proclaimed decades earlier. From a stage for absolute monarchy to the setting for modern international diplomacy, Versailles has played a pivotal role in shaping France and the world. Today, its gates are open, and visitors walk the same halls where kings and queens once danced, and where statesmen deliberated the future. It remains a staggering monument to ambition, a place where the echoes of grandeur and the tremors of revolution can still be felt in the very air you breathe, a testament to a world that has long since vanished. On an island in the middle of the River Seine, a magnificent structure has stood for over 800 years, a silent witness to the history of Paris. This is the Cathédrale Notre-Dame de Paris, Our Lady of Paris. Its construction began in the 12th century, a monumental undertaking that would span generations. It is a masterpiece of French Gothic architecture, a style that sought to fill sacred spaces with light and air, to lift the human spirit heavenward. Its twin towers, solid and reassuring, have become as much a part of the Parisian skyline as the river that flows at its feet. The genius of its design is evident in every detail. The pioneering use of the flying buttress, those external arched supports, allowed the walls to be built thinner and higher, making space for vast, luminous stained glass windows. These windows, particularly the spectacular north, south, and west rose windows, transform sunlight into a kaleidoscope of divine stories, bathing the cavernous interior in a colored, mystical glow. And watching over the city from its galleries are the famous gargoyles and chimeras, fantastic stone creatures that serve both a practical purpose as waterspouts and a symbolic one, warding off evil spirits. For centuries, Notre Dame has been more than a church. It has been the city's heart. It has hosted royal coronations, celebrated national liberations, and mourned in times of tragedy. It has inspired artists and writers, most famously Victor Hugo, whose novel helped save it from ruin in the 19th century and cemented its place in the popular imagination. It is a place of pilgrimage, a haven of peace, and a constant reassuring presence in the life of the city. It has weathered wars, revolutions, and the simple passage of time, a resilient symbol of faith and endurance. In 2019, the world watched in horror as a devastating fire consumed its roof and iconic spire. A wave of grief swept across the globe, a profound sense of loss for a landmark that belonged not just to Paris, but to all of humanity. Yet from those ashes rose a remarkable determination to rebuild. The ongoing restoration is one of the most ambitious heritage projects ever undertaken, a meticulous effort by artisans and experts to bring the cathedral back to its former glory. This act of renewal is the latest chapter in Notre Dame's long story, a powerful testament to its enduring significance and the deep connection it holds for millions. Where the coast of Normandy meets the English Channel, a truly extraordinary sight emerges from the tidal flats, Mont Saint-Michel. It is an island, yet not always. At high tide, it is surrounded by the sea, a mystical silhouette against the sky. At low tide, the waters recede to reveal vast sandbanks, allowing passage on foot. This dramatic, ever-changing environment has shaped the destiny of this unique place for over 1,000 years, making it a natural fortress and a place of profound spiritual magnetism. Its story begins in the 8th century with a legend. The Archangel Michael appeared to a local bishop, instructing him to build a church on this rocky outcrop. From that humble beginning grew a great Benedictine abbey, a center of learning and pilgrimage that became one of the most important in all of Christendom. The construction itself is a miracle of medieval engineering. Monks and master builders defied gravity, hauling stone and timber up the steep granite slopes to build a monastery that seems to grow out of the very rock, its spire reaching towards the heavens. The abbey church sits at the pinnacle, a marvel of Romanesque and Gothic styles built over centuries. Below it, a village of winding streets, fortifications and houses clings to the mountainside, a tightly packed community that once served the pilgrims and soldiers who lived here. This strategic location also gave Mont Saint-Michel immense military importance. During the 100 Years' War, its formidable walls and the treacherous tides repelled repeated English assaults, making it a potent symbol of French resistance and national identity. It was the one stronghold in the region that never fell. Today, Mont Saint-Michel is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, attracting millions who come to witness its otherworldly beauty and walk its ancient paths. To experience the tide rushing in, transforming the landscape in a matter of hours, is to understand the power that has captivated people for centuries. It remains a place where the natural and the man-made merge in perfect, breathtaking harmony. A testament to faith, fortitude, and the enduring power of a sacred place set apart from the ordinary world. At the western end of the Champs-Élysées, standing at the center of a chaotic 12-avenue roundabout, is a monument to military glory and national pride, the Arc de Triomphe de l'Étoile. Commissioned in 1806 by Napoleon Bonaparte, after his victory at Austerlitz, it was intended to be a grand tribute to his Grande Armée. Napoleon wanted his victorious soldiers to march home through a triumphal arch that would rival those of ancient Rome, a permanent and imposing symbol of French military might and imperial ambition. Its construction was a monumental task, spanning 3 decades and surviving the fall of Napoleon's empire and the restoration of the monarchy. The arch is colossal, its surface is covered in intricate sculptural reliefs depicting key moments from the French Revolutionary and Napoleonic Wars. These friezes are a visual narrative of conflict and victory, featuring heroic, larger-than-life figures in dramatic scenes of departure, battle, resistance, and triumph. It is a history book written in stone, designed to inspire patriotic fervor in all who gaze upon it. Though Napoleon never saw it completed, his legacy is intrinsically linked to it. In 1840, his remains passed under its vault on their final journey to Les Invalides, a posthumous triumph for the emperor. But the arch's significance evolved. After the First World War, it took on a new, more solemn purpose. Beneath its central arch lies the tomb of the unknown soldier, interred here in 1921. It is a tribute to the 1.5 million French soldiers who died in the Great War and whose identities were never known. A poignant symbol of the anonymous sacrifice that underpins national survival. Every evening since 1923, a ceremony is held to rekindle the eternal flame that burns at the tomb. This simple, powerful ritual ensures that the memory of those who gave their lives for France is never extinguished. The Arc de Triomphe, therefore, is more than a monument to victory. It is a sacred place of remembrance. It stands as a solemn guardian of national memory, connecting the glories of the past with the sacrifices that have forged the present, a powerful reminder of the human cost of conflict. Deep within the forests of the Loire Valley stands a chateau of such fantastical design it seems to have been plucked from a fairy tale. This is the Château de Chambord, the largest and most extravagant of all the Loire castles. It was never intended as a permanent residence or a defensive fortress. Instead, it was conceived as a monumental hunting lodge for a young King Francis I, a place where he could display his immense wealth, his sophisticated taste, and his power to the world. Its forest setting was paramount, a vast private domain for the royal hunt. The architecture is a spectacular fusion of traditional French medieval forms and classical Renaissance structures. Its skyline is a forest of turrets, cupolas, and chimneys, so elaborate and whimsical that it looks more like a crowded city than a single building. This distinctive silhouette was designed to impress and to be seen from afar, a declaration of royal presence in the heart of the Sologne wilderness. Begun in 1519, its construction was a colossal undertaking that spanned decades, and while Francis I championed its creation, he would spend only a few weeks here in total. At the very heart of the chateau lies its most celebrated and enigmatic feature, the double helix staircase. Attributed, though without definitive proof, to the genius of Leonardo da Vinci, who spent his last years in France as a guest of the king. This architectural marvel consists of two intertwined spiral staircases. They ascend through the central core of the building, allowing two people to climb simultaneously without ever meeting, though they can see each other through the openings in the central column. It is a masterpiece of design, both playful and profoundly clever. Chambord is a monument to a king's vision, a place where architecture was used as a tool of propaganda. It was meant to awe visiting dignitaries and rival monarchs, a symbol of a new era of French culture and influence. Though rarely used by the kings who followed Francis I, it has been meticulously preserved. Today, visitors can wander its vast, empty rooms and climb that mesmerizing staircase, imagining the brief but brilliant moments when the royal court filled these halls with life, a magnificent and slightly mad dream of a king frozen in stone. Tucked away within the confines of the Palais de la Cité in Paris, the former royal palace, lies a jewel box of Gothic architecture. This is Sainte-Chapelle. From the outside, it appears modest, almost overshadowed by the surrounding grand buildings of the law courts. But to step inside its upper chapel is to be transported into another world, a world made not of stone, but of colored light. It was built in the mid-13th century by King Louis IX, later St. Louis, for one very specific and sacred purpose. That purpose was to house his extraordinary collection of passion relics, including Christ's crown of thorns, which he had acquired at immense expense. Sainte-Chapelle was, in essence, a giant, magnificent reliquary, designed to be a private chapel for the king and a worthy home for these most sacred of Christian artifacts. The structure was a triumph of the rayonnant Gothic style, which pushed the architectural principles of the time to their absolute limit, seeking to dissolve the solid walls into pure, radiant light. The result is honestly breathtaking. The upper chapel is composed of 15 enormous stained glass windows stretching over 15 meters high that depict more than 1,100 biblical scenes. These vast walls of glass tell the story of the world from Genesis to the story of the relic's arrival in Paris, bathing the interior in a vibrant, ethereal glow. The stone structure is reduced to a delicate, almost skeletal framework, creating the overwhelming impression that one is standing inside a kaleidoscope of divine narrative. It is an experience designed to evoke the heavenly Jerusalem here on earth. While the relics themselves were scattered during the French Revolution, the chapel and its windows miraculously survived. After meticulous restoration, they shine today with a brilliance that must be close to what 13th century worshippers witnessed. Visiting Sainte-Chapelle is less about observing a building and more about immersing oneself in an atmosphere. It is a testament to the power of faith, the ambition of a king, and the genius of medieval craftsmen who mastered stone and glass to create a space of transcendent, almost unbelievable beauty. In the sun-drenched landscape of southern France, a testament to the engineering genius of another age spans the Gardon River. This is the Pont du Gard. It is an ancient Roman aqueduct bridge built in the middle of the 1st century AD. It is a structure of immense scale and surprising grace, a perfect marriage of form and function. Its purpose was entirely practical, to carry water over 50 kilometers from a spring near Uzes to the important Roman colony of Nemausus, known today as the city of Nimes. The precision of its construction is staggering, especially when one considers the tools available to its builders 2,000 years ago. The entire aqueduct descends by only 17 meters over its 50-kilometer length, an average gradient of just 25 centimeters per kilometer. This required incredibly precise surveying and planning. The bridge itself, built on 3 tiers of arches, was constructed without the use of mortar. Its massive stones, some weighing up to 6 tons, were perfectly cut to fit together, held in place by friction and gravity alone. The bridge served the city of Nimes for centuries, supplying its fountains, baths and homes with an abundance of fresh water, a hallmark of Roman civilization and a symbol of its power and prosperity. After the fall of the Roman Empire, the aqueduct fell into disuse and disrepair. The bridge, however, survived because it proved useful as a toll bridge for people and carts crossing the river. Its utility saved it from the fate of so many other Roman structures, which were often dismantled for their stone. Today, the Pont du Gard stands in a remarkable state of preservation, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the most visited ancient monument in France. To stand beneath its towering arches is to feel a profound connection to the Roman world. It is a silent, powerful reminder of an empire's ambition and its mastery of the natural world. It is more than just a bridge. It is a surviving artery of a lost civilization, a masterpiece of engineering that has withstood the passage of 2 millennia. Watching over Paris from its highest point, the butte of Montmartre is a gleaming white basilica with a distinctly exotic Romano-Byzantine silhouette. This is the Basilica of the Sacred Heart, or Sacré-Cœur. Unlike the ancient Gothic cathedrals, this is a relatively modern creation, born from a period of profound national turmoil. Its construction was proposed following France's defeat in the Franco-Prussian War of 1870 and the subsequent bloody uprising of the Paris Commune. The basilica was conceived as an act of national penance, a spiritual monument to atone for the moral decline that, its promoters believed, had led to these disasters. It was to be a permanent offering to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, a symbol of hope, forgiveness, and renewed faith. The project was funded by public subscription, with contributions coming from all over France, making it a truly national undertaking. Its construction began in 1875, but would take nearly 4 decades to complete, finally being consecrated after the end of the First World War in 1919. The choice of stone is key to its enduring brilliance. The basilica is built from travertine, a type of limestone quarried in Château Landon. This remarkable stone, when it rains, bleaches itself, constantly releasing calcite. This means that with age and weathering, the basilica does not grow dark and grimy, but becomes progressively whiter. It is a self-cleaning monument, forever maintaining its radiant, pristine appearance against the Parisian sky. Inside, the ceiling of the apse is adorned with one of the world's largest mosaics, a magnificent depiction of Christ in majesty. Beyond its religious significance, Sacré-Cœur offers one of the most spectacular panoramic views of Paris. From its dome or the large terrace at its entrance, the entire city unfolds below. It has become a beloved landmark, a place where Parisians and tourists alike gather to relax, to reflect, and to watch the sun set over the city. From a monument born of defeat and division, it has transformed into a symbol of Parisian identity and a beacon of peace overlooking the bustling metropolis. On the left side of the Seine River, there's a huge and fancy group of buildings with a beautiful golden dome on top. This is called Les Invalides. Its full name is l'Hôtel National des Invalides, which means the National Home for Invalids. It was started in the 1600s by King Louis XIV, also known as the Sun King, for a very kind and specific reason. He wanted it to be a home and hospital for old and sick soldiers, the ones who had fought in his many wars. Honestly, it was a really new idea for its time, giving a safe place and care to those who had served France. The whole place was designed to be more than just a hospital. It was like its own little town with a church, workshops, and courtyards. The main church, the Cathédrale Saint-Louis des Invalides, was for the people living there. But King Louis XIV later asked for a second, much grander chapel to be built for royal use, called the Église du Dôme. This chapel with its dome is a masterpiece of French fancy architecture, and its tall golden dome is a famous and much-loved part of the Paris skyline. This amazing place would later get an even more important job. In 1840, Les Invalides changed forever. The body of Napoleon Bonaparte was brought back to France from where he was exiled on St. Helena. This event is known as the Return of the Ashes. He was to be buried here under the Golden Dome in a place fit for an emperor. His tomb is a huge stone coffin made of red stone sitting on a green stone base. It's inside a round open area so visitors can look down on it from above. Honestly, this design makes you feel like you have to show respect. All around it are statues and carvings that show off his achievements in government and war. Today, Les Invalides still does some of its original job, housing a place for military veterans. But it's also home to the Musée de l'Armée, which is France's national military museum. And it's still, most importantly, a special place for people who are really interested in Napoleon. It's a complicated monument, at the same time a caring home for soldiers, a celebration of military history, and the grand final resting place of one of the history's most interesting and talked about people, all under one golden, shining dome. Perched atop the Montagne Sainte-Geneviève in the Latin Quarter of Paris stands a grand neoclassical building with a commanding dome, reminiscent of ancient Rome. This is the Pantheon. Its story is one of transformation, a building conceived for one purpose that was destined for another, its identity shifting with the turbulent tides of French politics. Its original commission, by a gravely ill King Louis XV, was to be a magnificent new church dedicated to Saint Genevieve, the patron saint of Paris. Construction began in 1758, but by the time it was completed in 1790, France was in the throes of revolution. The new secular revolutionary government had little use for a grand new church. Instead, they repurposed the building, transforming it into a mausoleum for the great men of the era of French liberty. The church became a temple to the nation, a place to honor the citizens who had contributed most profoundly to the ideals of France. Its pediment was inscribed with a new dedication, Au grand homme, la patrie reconnaissante, to its great men, the grateful homeland. This dual identity would define the Pantheon for the next century. It was reconsecrated as a church, and then secularized again on multiple occasions, its status changing with each new political regime, empire, monarchy, and republic. It wasn't until 1885, on the occasion of Victor Hugo's funeral, that it was definitively designated as a secular mausoleum for the luminaries of the French Republic. The decision to entomb the great writer here, amidst enormous public ceremony, cemented its role as the nation's Hall of Fame. Today, to enter the Pantheon's vast, solemn crypt is to walk through the intellectual, scientific, and political history of France. Here lie the remains of Voltaire and Rousseau, their philosophies fueling the revolution. Here too are Victor Hugo and Émile Zola, giants of literature, Marie Curie, a pioneer of science, and Alexandre Dumas, the master of adventure. It is a silent, powerful space, a secular sanctuary where the nation pays its highest respects not to saints or kings, but to the individuals whose ideas and actions have shaped the very soul of modern France. In the south of France, rising above the modern town below, is a site that seems to belong to a lost age of knights and legends. This is the Cité de Carcassonne, a fortified medieval city that is one of the most perfectly preserved and restored examples of its kind in the world. Its strategic hilltop location has been occupied for over 2,000 years, but it was during the Middle Ages that it took on the formidable form we see today, a city within a city, protected by massive double walls and 52 towers. Carcassonne's history is a turbulent one, marked by siege and conquest. It was a key stronghold for the Cathars, a Christian sect deemed heretical by the Catholic Church, and it fell during the brutal Albigensian Crusade in the 13th century. Following its capture, the French kings expanded and strengthened its fortifications, creating the concentric rings of walls, the outer lower wall, and the inner, taller one, that made it virtually impregnable. For centuries, it served as a vital military outpost on the border between France and the Kingdom of Aragon. However, with the shifting of the border in the 17th century, Carcassonne lost its strategic importance. The fortress city fell into neglect and decay, its stones quarried for other buildings, its future looking bleak. By the 19th century, it was so dilapidated that the French government ordered its demolition. It was saved by the passionate intervention of the local mayor and the architect Eugène Viollet-le-Duc, the same man who would later work on Notre Dame. He was tasked with its restoration, a colossal and sometimes controversial project that would last for decades. Viollet-le-Duc's work, while not always historically perfect, effectively saved Carcassonne and recreated the image of an ideal medieval city. Today, it is a living museum and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. To walk its cobbled streets, to patrol its ramparts, and to gaze out from its watchtowers is to be completely immersed in the medieval world. It is a powerful, tangible link to a distant past, a fairy tale fortress brought back from the brink of oblivion for all to experience. In the town of Orange, in the heart of Provence, stands one of the most impressive and best preserved relics of the Roman Empire in all of Europe. This is the Théâtre Antique d'Orange, the Roman Theatre of Orange. Built early in the 1st century AD, during the reign of Emperor Augustus, it is a testament to the cultural importance of theatre in the Roman world. It could seat up to 10,000 spectators who would gather to watch tragedies, comedies, and mime performances, which were central to civic life. What makes the Theatre of Orange so remarkable is the extraordinary preservation of its skene fronds, the magnificent stage wall. This monumental facade, over 100 meters long and 37 meters high, is the only one of its kind to have survived so intact. King Louis XIV is said to have called it the finest wall in my kingdom. It once would have been decorated with marble slabs, mosaics, and numerous statues, creating a truly spectacular backdrop for the performances. A single statue of Emperor Augustus, over 3 meters tall, still stands today in a central niche, a reminder of the theatre's imperial origins. The theatre's acoustics are legendary. The design of the tiered seating, or cavea, and the immense stage wall work together to project the voices of actors from the stage to the very top rows without the need for artificial amplification. This acoustic perfection is a testament to the sophisticated understanding of sound engineering possessed by Roman architects. After the fall of the empire, the theatre was abandoned, used as a defensive post, and even had houses built within its structure, but its massive core survived. In the 19th century, the theatre was carefully restored and brought back to life. Today, it is once again used for its original purpose. Each summer, it hosts a renowned opera festival, the Chorèges de Rome, where audiences can experience world-class performances in a setting of unparalleled historical grandeur. To sit in the same stone seats where Roman citizens sat 2,000 years ago and watch a performance on its ancient stage is a truly profound experience, a seamless connection between the cultural life of the ancient world and our own. At the heart of Paris, situated between the Tuileries Garden and the beginning of the Champs-Élysées, is the city's largest and most historically charged public square, the Place de la Concorde. Today it is a vast, elegant space, defined by its majestic fountains, statues, and the ancient Egyptian obelisk at its center. But its serene appearance belies a dark and bloody past. The square has been a stage for some of the most pivotal and violent moments in French history. It was originally laid out in the 18th century as the Place Louis XV, with a large equestrian statue of the king at its center. But with the arrival of the French Revolution, the square was dramatically renamed the Place de la Révolution. The king's statue was torn down, and in its place was erected a new, far more terrifying instrument, the guillotine. It was here, in this public space, that the reign of terror unfolded. Over 1,000 people were executed, including King Louis XVI, Queen Marie Antoinette, and revolutionaries like Danton and Robespierre. The ground became soaked with blood. After the terror subsided, the square was renamed once more to Place de la Concorde, or Square of Harmony, in a hopeful, if perhaps premature, gesture of reconciliation and a desire to move on from its gruesome past. To further neutralize the space and anchor it with a non-political monument, King Louis Philippe had a gift from Egypt installed at its very center in the 1830s. This was the Luxor obelisk, a single pillar of granite over 3,000 years old, covered in hieroglyphs praising the pharaoh Ramesses II. The obelisk, flanked by 2 magnificent fountains inspired by those in St. Peter's Square in Rome, now defines the square. It is a silent, ancient witness that stands on the very spot where the guillotine once operated. Today, traffic swirls around it, and tourists admire its grandeur, many unaware that they are standing on one of the most haunted grounds in Paris. The Place de la Concorde is a powerful lesson in how a city attempts to heal its deepest wounds, layering beauty and harmony over memories of profound conflict and violence. Nestled in a vast forest south of Paris is the only royal chateau to have been continuously inhabited for 8 centuries. This is the Château de Fontainebleau. While Versailles is the symbol of one king's absolute power, Fontainebleau is a sprawling living history book of the French monarchy itself. From the 12th century to the 19th, nearly every sovereign from Louis VI to Napoleon III has lived here, each leaving their own distinct mark on its architecture and decor. It is not the vision of a single ruler, but a complex tapestry woven by dozens. Because of this long and continuous history of royal occupation, Fontainebleau lacks the uniform style of many other great palaces. Instead, it is a fascinating and somewhat rambling collection of buildings, wings, and courtyards that showcase the evolution of French architectural styles from the medieval period through the Renaissance to the neoclassical. One can walk from a medieval keep to a Renaissance gallery and then into an 18th century apartment, all within the same complex. It is this rich, layered complexity that gives Fontainebleau its unique character. It was King Francis I who began the chateau's great transformation from a medieval fortress into a magnificent Renaissance palace, bringing in Italian artists like Rosso Fiorentino and Primaticcio to decorate its interiors. Their work, known as the First School of Fontainebleau, was instrumental in introducing the Italian Renaissance style to France. Later, it became a favorite residence of Napoleon Bonaparte. He signed his first abdication here in 1814, bidding farewell to his old guard in the Cour du Cheval Blanc, which has since been known as the Cour des Adieux or Courtyard of Farewells. Wandering through Fontainebleau's 1,500 rooms is like taking a journey through time. You can see the throne of Napoleon, the apartments of Marie Antoinette, and the spectacular Francis I gallery. Each room tells a different story, a different chapter in the long narrative of the French nation. More intimate and perhaps more eclectic than Versailles, Fontainebleau offers a unique and deeply personal glimpse into the lives of the kings, queens, and emperors who shaped the destiny of France for 800 years. Our journey through the great monuments of France has come to an end, but the stories they tell are timeless. From the revolutionary steel of the Eiffel Tower to the ancient stones of the Pont du Gard, we have seen how these structures are so much more than brick and mortar. They are the anchors of national memory, the stages upon which history has been played out, and the enduring symbols of human faith, ambition, and artistic expression. They stand as a powerful connection to the past, reminding us of the triumphs and tribulations that have shaped the world we inhabit today. To see these landmarks in photographs or on screen is one thing, but to stand in their presence is another experience entirely. To feel the chill in the crypt of the Pantheon, to be bathed in the light of Sainte-Chapelle, or to gaze up at the immense arches of the Arc de Triomphe, is to connect with this heritage in a profound and personal way. I encourage you, if you ever have the chance, to walk these historic grounds yourself, to listen to the echoes of the past, and to create your own memories within these timeless settings. Thank you for joining me, Adil, on this exploration of France's rich and complex heritage. The spirit of a nation is captured in the monuments it chooses to build and preserve, and the legacy of France is one of extraordinary beauty and resilience. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which of these iconic landmarks resonates with you the most? Is there another French monument you believe holds a special story? Please share your thoughts and your own favorite places in the comments below.